So by request today, we're going to be doing a track breakdown of a song called Sonne by Deeparture. And we're going to be specifically looking at those mid basses that are really wide and almost kind of sound like a horn that are driving the melody. So we're going to look at like how to make them wide without sacrificing clarity, where they actually exist in the frequency spectrum, and then lastly, a little bit about the delay automation because there's some interesting things going on there. So I was able to like roughly recreate the track, and this is what we have. And again, we're trying to focus on this like mid bass layer. So the easiest way that I found to recreate it after kind of getting like the sound and like the waveform sounding similar was to just adjust the unison from 1 to 2. So that takes it from being a mono sound like this to a wider sound like this. There's more than one way that you can make a sound wide, but just like really easily adjusting the unison to 2 and then having the detune around like 0.12 or 0.13 preserve the sound the best, like especially when it comes to the attack. I'll just give you a really quick example. Like if I pull up wider here and I have this sound back in mono, let me just add some width to it and we get something that sounds like this. Versus with it off. Right, so it's definitely adding some width, but it's kind of stereoizing it in a way where like there's no attack left on the sound. And when we listen to the original, there definitely is a little bit of attack on this sound. So in this case, I just wanted to be careful. Like I didn't want to sacrifice any of that clarity when I was trying to make the sound wider. The second thing is let's take a look at where this sound actually exists. So I just have a spectrum analyzer here. I'm going to solo the original and then let's listen to what's going on just the sides of the mix. Okay, perfect. So we can hear that like pretty much the only thing on the sides is that melody that we're interested in, right? And it basically starts at around 150 hertz and it goes up into about like 2000 hertz. So we can say that on the sides, the sound basically exists from about 150 to, 2000, maybe like 2.5K. So that's just helpful when you're like trying to recreate the sound or like balance the different frequencies when you are creating it. All this stuff that you see underneath here is just like artifacts. It's not really contributing to the sound or like the characteristic. Then if we take a look at our track, we get a pretty similar result here too, right? It starts around maybe like 150 and it goes to about 2000. So the last thing that we'll take a look at is the delay, because if you listen to the original, after the melody plays through, in this space right here, you can hear the delay really kind of coming in and filling that empty space. Right, and it just rings out. So really easy to do. We just open up Serum. We're gonna head down to the delay and then I just change it to 1/8 dot. And the way that you do that is you just drag this all the way up to the top. I put it on ping pong. You can add like a little bit of a filter, adjust the feedback. And then the thing that I'm actually automating is just the delay, dry, wet. So you can see that like when these kind of plucky notes come in, we don't have much delay going on because if we were to turn that up there, it starts to cloud up the melody. So I just have it down at like 4 or 5. It can literally be at 0. It doesn't really matter as long as it's out of the way or you don't hear it like interfering with this melody. And then it just automates up in that space after the melody actually plays through. I think I automated the volume as well, just so it's a little bit more present. Awesome. So I hope that helps.